Watson, joined this afternoon here for the 5 o'clock slate show by former Weslaco quarterback and upcoming Javelina at the Texas A&M Kingsville, Jacob Cavazos. Jacob, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. It's just trying to stay healthy, especially right now. Things are getting a little bit out of hand again, but we're all still trying to be safe. Jacob, talk about first to start off a little bit what's been on your neck of the woods. How have you been dealing with COVID? Hopefully, nobody has been affected. How have you been dealing with COVID-19?
For sure, it's a scary thing. Obviously, everything that's gone around. Yeah, I do have a couple friends and a couple family members that have tested positive. So me myself have just been trying to stay home, stay safe, try to get as much work in as I can, but safely. So not trying to go to too much public areas and just trying to keep my family safe and the most important.
Absolutely, and we definitely hold your family in our condolences and prayers that hopefully we all get safe and we don't face the ultimate just the ultimate tragedy. And I mean, it seems to be going down. The mortality rate and the death rate seems to be going down, and that's pretty good news to hear. For you personally, man, how have you been? I know it's just been a long time. Some people are trying to do workouts. How have you been dealing with like trying to work out and all that stuff while trying to be safe at the same time?
When things first started, I had a good buddy of mine that we'd go to his garage and work out in his garage. He has like a little setup. So we'd go there for most part. When things kind of started opening up again, we kind of ventured out more. So I would start hanging out with receivers, and we'd go throw some route trees and stuff just to get the chemistry going. And as things started to pick up again, it's kind of just been some body weight stuff at home because I don't have a weight set here. And I've been trying to avoid kind of the public gyms just to keep my family safe in the big picture of it. And yeah, I've just been running, been trying to throw as much as possible just to be ready, but at the same time trying to stay as safe as possible.
When that first wave hit in the U.S., when all the NBA started getting canceled, Rudy Gobert touched the microphones, the most famous thing out of everything. Kind of silly, but that's what happened. Where were you when it first happened? How did you hear the first news about it?
I think
Rudy Gobert?
I think I was at home that evening, and I kind of heard that the virus was outbreaking and stuff, but you would never think it would get to this point. So I just remember seeing the NBA was going to shut down, and I was just like, wow, like, well, if the NBA can do this, then I'm sure there's going to be so much more that can follow it. And actually, we were in a baseball tournament that same day, and it got canceled on a Saturday. It got canceled on a Friday, and we didn't report to the Saturday of the tournament. So obviously, we didn't think it was going to be for a whole couple months, and I thought it was just going to be like a 2-week thing. So I guess our seniors, our spring break, our 1 week spring break vacation turned into a 5-month summer almost. So it was weird. But I mean, at the same time, I think precautions just needed to be necessary, and I think it was smart to cancel all that.
Absolutely, and I didn't know that. I bet everybody else knew that, but I didn't know you played baseball. Had you always played baseball? What did you play?
Yeah, I played baseball and football since I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Sweet. What position were you?
Baseball is kind of wherever they needed me. I could play infield, I could play outfield, and then I would pitch here and there.
Sweet. So yeah, no. Now that you're talking about that, your 5-month summer vacation, obviously everyone switched to online. How was that experience for you? Obviously, you're a senior. You were just turning in your college apps, scholarships, I bet, something like that. How did you adjust to it?
It's tough. I'm more of a visual learner, more of like paying attention to the teacher and stuff. So kind of having to adjust to videos and online information, reading a bunch of stuff was kind of tough at first, I guess, for my harder courses. But at the end of the day, what you need to do, you need to do. So you just had to sit down and focus, and I got through it. But I do prefer in-person classes a lot more than online.
Oh, definitely, for sure. I mean, there's no substitute for getting the actual in-person experience, because I mean, you can learn as much stuff as you can online, but
yeah, for sure.
You could probably agree with me that if you're in person, you could ask all the questions you want and try to get everything as right as you can. For graduation, what was it for you guys? Did you guys in person, or did you not have one at all? Was it virtual? What was it?
We had a virtual.
Man, how was that for you?
It was cool. I had a little gathering with my girlfriend and her family and my family. So we kind of just walked across their back patio, as they called our name. But
Hey, that's
it
cool.
was special, but it wasn't in person, which was we didn't ever get to really see how it felt to walk across that stage, but it turned out okay.
And that's definitely unique. I mean, with the signings that we've had, people are signing in their backyards, in front of the schools. Bobby Espedicueta signed at the Vipers facility, so I mean, it
Yeah,
makes some of these experiences unique. Like, and I'm sure you could agree that you're having that situation in your back patio is probably kind of the thing that you'll probably remember a lot for, honestly.
yeah, it was special.
Sweet. Well, let's talk football, man. Obviously, you're going to A&M Kingsville. You're going to be a Javelina. You're going to be reuniting with a former head coach, and who's going to be your head coach again. Before we get to that, let's start from the beginning. Just like baseball, you picked up a football as well. Talk about the early days, man. Did you play some little league? Did you play flag football? How did you first start beginning to love the game?
For sure. When I was probably about 4 years old, I started off with flag football. It was cool. I enjoyed the gist of it, the competition, the challenges it brought. And so I went from 1 year of flag football, I went straight to Pop Warrior, and it was Pee Wee at the time. So it was tackle football. And I just remember the first game, I was like, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to play. And my cousin at the time, who was actually my coach, kind of was just like, once you take that first hit, I promise you, you're going to have fun. And I was crying before that snap. He gave me a quarterback sneak just to get the jitters off of me. And once I took that hit, it was fine. And ever since then, I've just loved the challenge of it, the bond you create with your teammates, the memories you make, just being able to have the game in control of your hands. And the position I was in, I was blessed to be in, and just being able to lead a good group of people from when I was tiny. Just obviously not being the leader because you're not as vocal when you're a kid, but growing over it through the years, the process, it's been enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to it for the next few years.
Well, I guess from my experience, I guess the drill that kind of got me scared was the one where you're facing on the ground, facing up, and the coach blows the whistle. Guys, either you're the one that's tackling, or the guy is coming to tackle you. Was that one of
Yeah,
the things that you went through as well?
yeah. I guess some athletes could tell you just depends who you're going against. So I was always going against friends, so it was enjoyable for me. But at the end of the day, it's all fun. It's all fun at the end of every practice. You're brothers with that teammate, so it just gets you better.
Who did you look up? How did you grow up, and who did you look up to in the pros? Or were there any quarterbacks that you kind of looked up to, or players that you were like, "Hey, I want to be like him," or "That's a really cool player"?
Growing up, for sure, one of the most memorable two, I guess I could say I really enjoyed was Johnny Manziel and Marcus Mariota. Those two were two that I truly enjoyed watching every Saturday. As time's gone by, I guess through high school, I've liked Kyler Murray. Just the big names, Patrick Mahomes, they're just fun people to watch, and it's cool to try to base your game off of them. But at the end of the day, you gotta focus on what you know you can do and what you know you can't do. So it's cool. It's cool to have role models and cool to have drills you can get stuff from. But for sure, those are some of the main four that I've enjoyed watching.
Those are all good choices too. Murray, I'll tell you, man. In person, he's a beast. He's
Yeah,
tiny, but he's fast. He's got quick feet. And same thing with Manziel. And I mean, Mariota's doing the same thing as well. He's making a career out of himself.
yeah.
Let's fast forward a few years. You're in high school. How did you adjust to were you ever on JV? How did you jump up to the varsity level? What was your kind of journey into becoming on the varsity squad?
So it was actually my freshman year. I was on the freshman team. At the time, it was Coach Tony V, and he liked to keep freshmen together just to get that bond going. So I was on the freshman team, and actually our first game was Edinburgh Vela, which Salinas was the coach for at the time. And actually in the third quarter of that game, I got a sweep to the right, and I planted with my right leg, and I tore my ACL. So my freshman year, I only played 3/4 of the first game, and I was out for that season. And then the summer going to my sophomore year is when Salinas got hired, and he had kind of known, I guess, a little bit, coaches telling him that this kid can play, because I guess I had known some of the coaches that stayed, and they kind of saw my game and like what I stood for. And going into that year, I was kind of put with the varsity group just to kind of see how they were gonna put me on the team and where I could play. And he liked me at quarterback. So I was still healing up, I guess. Right before fall camp, I got cleared physically from my knee, so I started being able to do all the drills and stuff. And yeah, sophomore year, I was able to play quarterback here and there. We kind of had like a 3 quarterback system. It was me, Marco Leal, and Elijah Banda at the time. And we had a slow season. We went 3-6, I believe. But ever since my sophomore year, I guess I've been varsity.
Cool. You mentioned Tony V, and he's just like one of the coaches that everyone in the Valley, you hear the name, and you're like, oh, God, that's Coach V. You know exactly who he is.
Yeah, for sure.
Did he ever have an impact on you? You said he was your freshman year coach. He's got the job at PI now. And did he ever have an impact on you as a player at all? Did you like being played under him?
Oh, for sure. I guess when I really started conversating with him was probably junior high, I guess, going to 7th grade, when you go to his little camps he would hold just to kind of see what was up and coming. And he would hold me close to him. He would say like, hey, we have good plans for you. We have a lot looking forward to with you. So I guess my freshman year was kind of like his base year, kind of to see what I was going to be able to do. And then I guess I got cut short, so he didn't really get to coach me, but we were always on good terms.
Cool. Well, let's fast forward now 2 seasons. You mentioned that you're on the varsity squad. You got like a 3-6 season or something, sub 500. But your junior year is when you guys really peaked up, and I think you were letting up 7 points every game. And that minus the one game, I think it was you guys scored the 7 points. I forget what specific game it was.
Edinburgh Villa.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk
about that season, man. Before playoffs, prior to playoffs, just what kind of team were you guys? You guys just seemed to be one of just the top programs in the Valley.
I guess you could just say we were hungry. No team likes to have a losing season and miss playoffs, because that's obviously what you look forward to, what you work for. So we kind of just put it upon ourselves as the seniors. We're great leaders. They held everybody accountable. The whole group was kind of just like, we don't want to have this happen again. So we kind of just put our heads down, moved in silence that off season, and just every game we took it 1-0 mentality every game, just day by day. And we turned things around. We went, I believe 11-2, lost to Edinburgh Villa and Lake Travis. And overall it was just a great season. Defense was very good that year, as you said, holding everyone to 7 points. So they put us in check for sure, and offense did what they could, while defense showed out every week.
Well, when your first year, when you played Lake Travis, obviously it wasn't the result you wanted, and they had that D1 recruit, and I forget his name, but you went to, he's
Garrett
at
Wilson.
State right now. Yes, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Exactly. What did you see out of him? I don't want to take the show away from you, but Lake Travis,
sure.
He's an Ohio State kid. It's got to be insane to play up against him.
That's a generational talent. You can't take anything away from him. He was, I guess, unstoppable with us, but I mean, he did it to other teams too. So you've seen what he did. He did his freshman year at Ohio State. So sky's the limit for that guy.
And following that season, it was another thing that didn't go y'all's way, and it was kind of like something that kind of caught the eyes in the Valley. Was Coach Salinas resigning, and he was saying that he was going to go into something else other than coaching. Did that kind of catch you off guard or anything, especially after you guys caught a good season, 11-2?
For sure. I mean, it's obviously when you create a bond with someone and they decide to go away from it, it's obviously hard at first, but at the end of the day, you have goals, you have stuff you work for, and an amazing opportunity opened up for him. So at the end of the day, we respected his decision, and we knew we had stuff we needed to get done. So we still remained in contact. We were still on good terms. It wasn't like there was any bad blood between us.
That's
good. I had a year I needed to excel in if I wanted to continue my education and sports somewhere else, and he had his job he wanted to focus on.
Sweet. Now we're in your senior year of high school. You dropped that first game in a row, but it was just a shootout in that one. Talk about that game. How did that become that game in the year where it's like, okay, from here on out, I don't think we want to lose anymore. Talk about, was that the game that, you know what I'm talking about? It was just kind of like, yeah,
for sure. I think it helped us out. A lot of people can say when you lose your first game, it kind of sets the tone. So after that game, offense kind of knew, like, we did what we had to do. It's our job to continue to do that and pick the team up so we can continue to all be on the same level. So I guess us seniors kind of just asked the team, like, do y'all want this one game to hurt us for the rest of the year and just be like, oh, it's over? Or do y'all want to bounce back and show like we are what we really know we can be? So from that game, we just went on a win streak and kind of just got our confidence back and realized that we can hang with anyone. And as long as we just worked hard and put our heads down and grinded every day and every snap, that we'd be fine. And I think that's what us seniors kind of focused on.
And the word I was looking for was fuel, by the way, my bad. So yeah, no, you guys went on a great season that year. You guys started getting recognized as the season went on as well. Hold up, my connection's a little bad. Okay, there we go. So yeah, my bad. Yeah, your season just went really good after that. Talk about those playoff games. I think those 2 playoff games against Los Fresnos and McAllen Memorial, that's where I think you peaked, in my opinion. You started coming out, and they were close games as well. And then you just peaked, and your performance just went off the charts, and you just had that clutch mentality. Talk about just those 2 games and just the character it shows as you as a player.
I kind of just put it upon myself, like, did I really want this game to be my last game? Like, I didn't want to be able to finish that game and kind of ask myself, did I really give it all I could? I didn't want to have that question in my head. So I kind of told the guys before those 2 games, like, y'all are going to get everything you have from me. If we lose, it's not going to be because I didn't give my best effort. It's not going to be because the guy next to me didn't give their best effort. If we're going to lose, it's because the team was simply better than us. And I think that's kind of the mentality I took into it. Every snap was just get as much as you can, make the play, make the read. And at the end of the day, God will take care of the rest. And he did for those 2 games.
And you like to hear it when you have athletes as respectful as you are. And then I hate to say it, but then you face Lake Travis again.
Yes, sir.
I don't think a lot of athletes get to say, hey, we faced Lake Travis twice. They might say they lost to him twice, but overall, just your overall feeling on Lake Travis, man, you go out with a bang. And I mean, you're just clutch. Again, your clutch mentality really caught the eye, and it really spoke about how Weslaco was really good this year.
Yeah. I think Lake Travis, we told ourselves the score didn't really define like what kind of game it was, because I mean, if you watch the first 2 quarters, you kind of saw that we kind of beat ourselves in the beginning. I think we had 4 turnovers on 4 consecutive drives. I broke a run up the middle and got tackled about the 5-yard line, and we came out with the field goal instead of putting up 7 points on the board. A few drop passes, a few just plays we didn't really mistake on all year that we kind of did on that game. So I'm not going to say we would have come out on top, but I think we would have been more confident in ourselves if we had made those little things and not made those errors. And at the end of the day, they're a great team, and they're coached by an excellent coach who has a good dynasty over there. And they make it deep every year, so it's not a bad team to lose to.
Exactly. One thing other to note is just the level of talent that the Valley itself has just been producing. As the years progress, we saw Pioneer lose a close one to Bernie Champion. We saw Mission Vets the other year make it to the region very far with a lot of go balls in their resume. What can you say for Valley football? Has it come a long way? What do you think has been the recent trend in Valley football?
I think players just being more confident in themselves, more exposure to camps, more exposure to things, just seeing people excel, seeing that it's possible. I think a lot of the times people kind of give themselves a barrier and kind of say like, oh, well, I did this, so I'm kind of good and I'm kind of good here. I don't want to go much more because this guy's already way better than me. And I think nowadays you got a lot of guys that just know they can hang, and got a lot of guys that know size and weight doesn't really matter as much as people think they do. Because I mean, you said look at Kyler Murray. He's 5'11" and he's #1 draft pick, Heisman winner. So a lot of us are just confident in ourselves. A lot of us just know what it takes, working day in and day out. And at the end of the day, just giving it your all and knowing that you fall back to the training you put in, and everything you've done pays off eventually.
Definitely agree with that one. Valley football is definitely what it is, and it's getting up there, and it's showing that with vets especially, and you guys going up there to compete with Lake Travis, it's showing just the progression of players and teams in the Rio Grande Valley. Now a little bit more of a different topic for you. You're recruiting. Obviously, you're wearing an A&M Kingsville shirt. Let's start from the beginning a little bit. How did your recruiting process start, even before you had announced I'm going to Kingsville? How did your trail begin?
No, going into I want to say my sophomore, junior year, I was kind of set on Incarnate Word actually. I kind of liked the school. I liked the coaches that were there. I had gone to a couple camps. I have family close to there, so I was kind of set on the area and what it brought and what it offered, and just the university it is and how pretty it is and the education you get. So I guess my goal was to get attention from them, and I guess I didn't really get many offers after junior year. It was more so towards the end, middle of senior year. So I had a few smaller schools, D3, NAIA, and I ended up getting a preferred walk-on from Incarnate Word. So when I got that call, I was like, well, damn, like I got what I wanted. Obviously, it wasn't the scholarship I wanted, and I just remember going to my father, my uncle, who someone they played at Texas Tech, who was always giving me great advice, and actually my offensive coordinator from this past year, like, hey, this is what they offered me. What do you guys think? And they all kind of told me the same thing. Don't make a decision too fast. Don't hop on it because what if something else pops open? So I kind of just told them thank you, but I'm gonna keep my options open. Y'all are still very considered. Like y'all are a great university that I've wanted to go to for a while. And I want to say about closer to 3 weeks after that phone call I had with the Incarnate Word coach, I saw that Coach Salinas got announced as the head coach. And obviously he couldn't tell me because it's a professional thing. He couldn't tell me, hey, I'm gonna get the job because he didn't know either. And it wasn't my business to go into all that. So he kind of called me, I guess, later that day saying, hey, I know you heard the news. Are you ready to be a Javelina? And I just said, count me in, coach. Like, it's a great school. Kingsville is a great university, and I enjoyed playing for him in high school, and I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thing too. Just your overall reaction of Salinas going there too. It's definitely a far-fetched thing to see that your coach that you had in high school is now your head coach in college. So, what do you expect to do for that? How do you expect the relationship going to be? How excited are you to be coached under him again?
For sure. If you know Coach Salinas, you know he's going to treat you the same as everyone else. So I'm not going in with the mentality that I'm going to be favored more than anyone else. I know I'm going to have to work as hard as everybody else is, maybe
Exactly.
even harder. So I'm excited. He's a great coach. I know what he stands for, and I know he's going to put a good staff together and a good program. So I'm looking forward to joining the new recruits in and the guys already there so we can continue to be successful and hopefully turn that program around too.
On that phone call, was that mainly him calling you? Was that mainly the main decision and the absolute nail in the coffin that you were going to go to Kingsville?
It was definitely. I knew it was going to be a walk on. I knew it was going to be a little something more, just because obviously it's not D1, but it's a smaller school, and I guess you could say the relationship I had with him. I knew he had good things planned for me. Um, but yeah, I mean it's closer to home, closer to family, and yeah, it was a lot more confidence in going there than it was to Incarnate Word at the time.
Exactly. Hour 30 is not too bad to say I'm going to go play ball there.
No,
Have they
no,
been sending you workouts already for just strength and conditioning stuff? Have you been getting on that already?
for sure. I guess the week we're supposed to get out of school, so I guess the first week of summer they sent us our program, so it has a week by week thing you follow. So I've been doing that, and then I guess we'll start installing soon because we're supposed to report early August.
Are you optimistic that the season will start? Today it was announced that the Ivy Leagues,
Yeah.
they said the fall sports are canceled for good, so they're moving football to spring. But it's not supposed to have a major impact on FCS and FBS. What's your take on kind of the whole sports to spring or sports canceled? Are you optimistic about it?
For sure. I mean, with everything going on, it's kind of scary to know you're gonna have to be around a lot of people there. But at the end of the day, I'm a live in the moment type of guy. I don't really want to focus too much on what's happened yesterday. I don't really want to focus too much on what's to come. So it's kind of a day by day thing. Some days there's more cases than others. Some days there's less. So I guess it's all God's plan at the end of the day. And if we're blessed with the football season, then obviously I'm gonna make the most of it and work hard just as I have in the past. And if not, just continue to stay safe and continue to stay doing the things that I've done to this point.
Looking back on your football career in high school, before we wrap up, what can you say was probably one of the more memorable things? I bet you had a lot, especially in the playoff
Yeah.
runs. And what's a couple of the most memorable things you remember?
Just I guess the bonds you create, the family you I guess achieve within the group, the success. Kind of just opens your eyes, kind of teaches you a lot about life more than just sports. A lot of lifelong connections I'll have with people in the long run. Obviously, the opportunity to continue to play college ball is a blessing because it's something I dreamed of since I was tiny, watching all college games growing up. So I guess the most memorable thing was just everything that football brought to me, to the people around me, my family, and just being able to call so many people family and friends that without it, I may probably had never met.
Good stuff to end on. And finally, what are you going to look to major in when you're in Javelina Nation?
I'll be majoring in finance business.
Good stuff. Well, thank you, Jacob, for joining us. That's going to wrap up our show for today, folks. Coming up on Friday, we'll get a new slate of shows 1, 3, and 5. And actually, we're going to be heading to Allen, Texas for a softball tournament over there. So keep your eye out for that, folks. Again, that's Jacob Cavazos. And actually, I forgot one more thing. We usually do it. We always do this on our show. Any shout outs you want to give, Jacob?
Shout out to my parents and shout out to God. Without them, nothing would be possible.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for our show. That's Weslaco and Texas A&M Kingsville football player Jacob Cavazos. Man, thank you for joining us today, and good luck at Kingsville.
Appreciate it. Thank you.